Hey guys, welcome back to Tactics Talk. I just got this cool green screen thing going, so I'm just checking this out for this particular video. And let me know what you think about seeing my ugly mug. You probably don't really care, but there you have it. I thought I'd give it a try. It's one of those circular guys that sits on the back of the chair. You can see that I actually have it behind the chair instead of on the front of the chair. It just seems to work out. Plus I can kind of lean back. But anyway, I've got the turtle here today. I just gave one of those away on stream. And it's an interesting new tank. I will have a full review coming out on it, but I wanted to show you guys this game. It is very good when it's allowed to do what it does, which is spit shots down range rapidly with a 5-something second reload. It hits decently hard with 300 hit points. Unlike most of the British TDs until you get to the higher, say, tier 9 and 10, that have the little pew-pew guns, this thing actually has a fairly hard-hitting gun that still fires fast. And it's one of the best DPMs at tier 8 in a TD. Now it's casemate and very slow, as you can see. I'm barely cooking along at 20, even headed downhill right here. I decided to go down to the south and see if I could clog up this corridor and kind of use this DPM and armor and see what I can do. Now this first push here is I'm going to get a little overextended, but I'm looking for some shots. I can see that they're filtering through the bottom. You can see that right there down the bottom of the map here, down here. In this area right there. And why is my mouse not showing? Stupid mouse. Anyway, you can't see it, but there you go. They're filtering through that middle area right there. I'm going to come up here a little high, and that's going to get me lit, show you what I'm doing with my camera. I'm trying to work a shot on the T26E5 right there as best I can, but I can't quite figure that out, and that's going to make me get up a little higher and exposed, and people are going to see me here right about there, so they've seen me for 3 seconds, and I'll back out. Like I said, it's a very slow tank. The armor is good, but not great. So you're going to find this to be, it's not going to be just situational armor. It's going to actually work pretty well against tier 8s and tier 6s. Sorry, against tier 6s and 7s, not as great against 8s. 9s and 10s are going to have their way with you pretty much. Anybody pressing 2 can get through the lower plate. We'll go over all that in the replay or the review when I get to the major review. But for this particular game, it ends up working out because I'm facing a lot of tier 8s. And it's probably also early in its release. Not a lot of people really know where to shoot it. And it does, like I said, have a really weak, that lower section, that little tiny lower plate piece right there is fairly easy to punch through. And of course, if you get into the 260s, 280s to 300s on the pen, you're going to go through the upper superstructure as well. But if I'm able to stay away from people a bit, I'm going to have a decent time taking them on and avoiding them going through my weak point. You might notice that it looks a lot like a tortoise. But what it doesn't have is that big hatch. Now there's a hatch up there, but it's not the big one like the tortoise has. So that weak spot that people can snipe isn't there. Although, like I said, the lower plate is. So I'm going to fall back, and I'll go over here, come on up and over, and I'm taking a chance, but I really want to get this guy out. And unfortunately, I missed that first shot. And you will notice that the gun is a little bit derpy on occasion. The zoom in is really fast, really nice. I also have a directive with the, I don't remember which one it is, but a gun handling directive helping me out here. A pretty decent crew. I'm not running food though. And we'll back on out of here. And I can see that I've got a T26E5 and potentially a Ferdinand that want to move up. Now I don't want to fall back too far, but I also don't want to let these guys get around me right here. So I'll end up dueling this T26E5. He's got a strong turret, so I'm going to have trouble with that. I try to put it, bounce off the upper plate with the great angle that he's got right there. I'm going to have trouble there. There is a GW, so I figure at some point this artillery is probably going to pay attention that I am lit. I see the Bulldog, and I'm thinking, all right, there's potential here, but I don't like what he's doing. It looks like he really wants to just push over. And I'm not going to be able to support him too much. I know he's just going to get wrecked, and he ends up getting wrecked. He just gets absolutely hammered, lit on fire, and for no good reason. I really wasn't there to help him. I would have loved to have pushed in, but there was just nothing I could do. And that's part of this tank's problem, is its flexibility. If I'd have gone to this side and there wasn't anything going on, I would have had a really hard time getting somewhere else in the game and being able to do something. The good news is that a couple of them are pushing in. Now this guy is not really thinking too well. There's 2 shots now, maybe 1. I think there's another one coming up. Do I miss this one? There we go. I finally get it. See, I shot twice right into the ground there. So it's decent accuracy, but not amazing. And then he just sort of lets me do that right there. We take him down. And unfortunately, I still have my... Nope, there we go. Was I smart enough? No, I think I have a HE round loaded up, and that's not exactly what I want right here. And I think I learned that here in a moment when I do not a lot of damage to somebody coming up. I know the Ferdinand's there, and I figure the WZ's probably backing them up. There's plenty of guns left in the game, but we've evened it up back to 6-6. And I'm just going to hang out right here. And here comes the Ferdinand. So what I need to do here is work his superstructure. Both of our guns are near the top of our superstructure, so we're both going to expose a little bit of superstructure to each other's guns. And I feel like I have a bit of an advantage because he's look up to me, giving me a little bit more angle, and I'm look down on him, giving a little more flat plate to his upper plate or upper superstructure. So I sneak one in there. Gun doesn't let me down on that one. Again, I need to look to the right or left of his mantlet. I'll put another one into him, and now that's got him into 2-shot territory for me. Then I was worried about the Scorpion G. So I see him coming. Somebody softens him up. That's really important. And he moves on in here. And I'm just backing out thinking, all right, this is it. I'm going to get sandwiched. So really my only choice is to come up and over. And I just need to try to take on this Scorpion and get rid of him. I can't have him sit there. I'll auto-aim him. Would have been nice to have had HE, but I didn't. So I'm waiting for him here. Put another shot into him. Not quite dead yet. And down he goes. I take a hit. There is an enemy turtle over there. I take another, looks like a bounce right there. So I've bounced 1,140. Got 2,000 damage, 967 assist at this point. And now I've got to turn back around. I've got to go over there and I've got to deal with the Ferdinand. So I see him pushing in a little bit. Kind of force him to, not force, but bait him to take a bad shot with a little forward back. I see the WZ coming up. This is my chance to get rid of the Ferdinand. I do that. The WZ, I'm getting a lot of spotting here. He gets hit and tracked. Look how fast this thing reloads. I'm able just to come right back up there and get a shot on him. Now I'm just hoping that, there we go, I'm just hoping somebody takes him out. I backed up too far. I get hit by the GW and the silly turtle from the other side gets a shot into my side. So I forgot about him a little bit when I backed up there and I went back a little bit too far. So the artillery is just fired. I know the turtle is over there on that ridge somewhere, but that's all I really know. And I figure most of them are probably camping up on their cap right there. And finally, look at my team. They've all been hiding in the corner. I'm over there fighting nearly everything. They did win the north. I will give them that. They did win up in the north. And what I don't want to do is come over this edge and find out that the Pantera has actually moved forward and is sitting right there waiting to spot me. So I think I take a sneaky shot into here. The WZ drives forward like a Muppet and just dies wholesale. I'm not really sure what he expected to have happen there because moving in through that little ravine and then trying to pop up right there, you're going to get spotted with all those guys sitting in bushes. Plus there's a big artillery, and there you go. That's pretty typical of people who camp and sit around a lot at the cap, is when they finally do move out and rage forward, they typically end up dying because they don't understand the approaches. There's the Pantera, and that's kind of where I was worried about him being. And I didn't want to just drive out into the open and let him see me. He is spotted, so I'm looking for a shot. Then I see the turtle. But I know that I can't really, and all of a sudden, boop, somebody else shows up and I'm thinking, holy cow. So had I moved down there, I'd have got jumped by 2 mediums pretty much immediately. And this guy, I get tracked, and then I put another shot. And see how fast its reload is? He does get a shot into me, and then down he goes. I don't know what killed him. Well, the M4043 ends up killing the guy, so down he goes. And it really does a pretty nice job of perma-tracking people, especially if they don't have, obviously if they don't have a kit, or if they don't have a really good crew going on. You can do some pretty much perma-tracking, and that's how I get rid of him. Now I see the Pantera, and it's just, this is more of a reactionary or a reaction mode time in the game. But I don't have a good option of going after him. That does help me because it softens him up a little bit. But that, remember, that turtle is over on the ridge over there, and I don't want to highlight myself on the ridge. I also don't really want to get spotted right now because I feel like the artillery will hit me. So the Pantera is kind of busy. I'm really hoping somebody else takes a chunk out of him. But I feel like he's trying to move up on the other side of this dune and then come around behind me there. So we'll go ahead and move in. And I'm just, again, looking to, if I can, there you go, keep him from seeing my lower plate as much as possible. I'll go hold down there. I get a bounce. See how fast it reloads? And now I'm looking for a track. Don't quite get it. He stays in just a little too long, right? That was his mistake. I actually get the track on him that time. He's on a reload. And just look how fast this reloads. For a 300 alpha gun, that is a really fast reload. And then I find the turtle. So the turtle has a little bit foolishly moved up. Although he may have at the time, because he's so slow, felt like it was a great move because he had a bunch of mediums pushing up to me. We were able to actually take all those mediums down. Then we get rid of the turtle. and we're up to 5,188. And I'm fully expecting an artillery shot to come in here and end my day. He actually does shoot, I believe, here in a couple seconds. You'll see the shot go behind me there as I'm moving forward. And now we've got to go dig a Scorpion and a Panther out. So I'll speed this up because, I mean, seriously, look how slow this thing is. We'll go to regular speed here. Actually take a blind shot. I don't know if any of these hit. Downhill, I'm doing, what do I touch? 22. So it's just atrociously slow. But really, you know, it ends up being a 1900 experience game. I get 6 kills. I'm going to get one more kill in here against the artillery. So it is quite a situational tank to a large extent. This was a game that just worked out for me. We'll come up here and take a look. I think I took a shot in a couple bushes. It does carry a decent amount of ammo, so a few blind shots into bushes is not really going to hurt anything. Remember, this is 2 times speed right now, so that's not how fast the tank is. So we'll slow it down right here. So it is quite a situational tank. If the right situation presents itself, it does well. Now, I know you can say that about any tank, but the strengths of the tank, if you can leverage them, are pretty fantastic. And you see me sitting at 2,300 bounced. Good shot into this guy at 337. I think I actually managed to shoot some HE at him, and we kill that guy, and down he goes for the 6th kill for 5,628, 2,000 assist damage. Gets me a Top Gun, gets me, I think, a Confederate, gets me an Ace Tanker, and I believe what's the other one? One other thing there. Well, it'll come to me. I can't think of it at the moment. Anyway, a good game, right? 1900 experience right there. Base experience. So back to the situational thing on the tank is that game just happened to unfold exactly like you would want with one of these tanks. Those 3 mediums, had they come up and got around me, it would have been the end of the day, and I'd have got, what, 2,500 damage, 2,000 damage, something like that. The artillery didn't quite focus on me, so that absolutely helped out. But when it's allowed to continue to shoot, and they come at you one at a time, or you're in a position where you can continually send rounds down range with this tank, it is a pretty fantastic tank. The DPM is amazing. The reload is really fast. The gun handling is decent. For a casemate, it's got a nice azimuth with the gun 20 degrees each side, which is very useful on a casemate TD. And the armor is decent, right? And I talked about it a little bit in the past. It sits at about 0.75 efficiency or so. It's not quite near 1, where like a Maus or a Type 5 Heavy would be, where you go, yeah, that's a heavily armored, maybe a T95, where you'd say, yeah, that's a heavily armored tank, and you can rely on its armor in some cases. On this one, I wouldn't rely on it necessarily, but it does give you bounces, so it's not just plain old situational armor. Obviously, from the side or whatever, it's very weak, and it's slow, so it's hard to get around the map on. I just want to show you guys that. I thought that was it was a really fun game. I did enjoy that game quite a bit. Obviously, when the Muppets come at you one at a time and allow you to machine gun them down, that's always fun. But this tank is for sale right now, so take a look at it if you'd like. Wait for my full review. I'll get that out pretty soon. And that's all I've got. We will see you.